Welcome everyone to another edition of Getting Techie With It. Today we are talking about AI for real estate agents. Work smarter, not harder. And today is all about learning about the most efficient tool for your business. I'll tell you, there are a lot of things you might think AI does or can do or can't do. We're going to try and clear some of that up today, give you a really good understanding of how these tools work, how to set them up. And then we're going to get into the part of the class where we're actually going to show you some of the pieces and how you're going to utilize the AI playbook after you leave this class. Because you're going to do a lot of learning in here today, but what you're not going to do is be actually jumping into the tool a ton and actually using it. You're going to want to, because ideas are going to start popping up in your head. You're going to be wondering, can it do this? Can I try this? Good. If you want to jump in to the AI and do it. I also suggest just writing those questions down somewhere that when you have your own time so that you don't miss out on what's going on in class today, because it's real easy to get sucked into a conversation with your AI and then 10 minutes go by and you're like, where are we at? What is going on right now? What? And so I suggest put the notes down, put some questions down on a piece of paper, just some way to remind yourself, oh, I wanted to check in on this, because you're going to be a little overwhelmed, I think, today by the end of the class with the amount of information I'm going to share with you. But I do believe that it's going to be presented in a way that you're going to be able to get a lot of value and use out of it as soon as you leave the class. All right. So we have a couple of housekeeping pieces to go with first. I know this is small, but this is the first page of your AI playbook. So if you open up to the back side of the cover page, it has all of the compliance pieces. And I'm not going to go through all of this, but everything still applies with your AI. And your AI does not know well enough how to follow the compliance for Colorado. It's going to try, you can even tell it, follow the rules, hear the rules. It's still your responsibility to make sure that anything that you get out of AI is, and you post it somewhere or email it to someone or use it in some way for your business, that you are responsible for that accuracy of that content. So make sure that you are proofreading, that you are not just copying and pasting the responses. I'll tell you a good measurement is AI will get you about 85% there. That last 15% is on you to check for compliance errors, to check for accuracy. That's on you. You need to follow fair housing. You need to follow the Canned Spam Act. You need to follow the TCPA. All of these are included when you're using AI, and you need to be aware of it, because I want you all to be safe when you're doing this, because it's real easy to start leaning on the AI too much. And you're going to learn AI is not as intelligent as it is artificial. And that artificial piece can bite you in the butt if you are not proofreading, if you are not checking in on the information. And the AI piece in here that you can see says that you are responsible for what is generated through this AI, and knowing that it's not always going to be accurate. It's not always going to be right. There's something called a hallucination that happens that I'll talk about in a minute, that we don't want that to happen. And there are ways to help your AI tool do better. And to continue the conversation, we're going to give you some nice little, not scripts, but prompts to help make these responses better from your AI tool. All right, so AI, last little disclosure here. I mentioned it before, but there is going to be, these tools are so powerful, I'm not going to be able to stand up here and say, use this prompt, do this with your AI. It is on you to figure out where this tool is going to fit into your world, because it will fit into lots of places. That's again why I can't tell you this is what you need to do with AI. You want to understand the tool so that you can apply its power to the places that fit in your business. And I'm always here to help. I'm always available for one-on-ones after this class, where if you want to go deeper on a conversation or talk more deeply about how to get the AI to do something that you want, that's absolutely on the table. But in the class today, I want you focused on thinking about, how does this fit into my world, and taking those notes so that you can go back in and try some of this stuff out, because it happens really fast when you start testing and looking. It's quick, it's faster than you. And so just put it down so you don't forget the great ideas that are going to come into mind while we're talking about today. So make sure your brains are turned on, make sure you're engaged. I would love it if you take your cell phone, and I know you're going to have it out, but put it face down so you're not distracted from it when it goes bzz, bzz, and you go, oh, is that my offer email? Did they accept it? If they accepted your offer, it's still going to be accepted after the class is done. I promise. It's not going to change in between. You can let that email hang out for a little bit and focus on what we're learning today. Is that fair? All right, let's get started. Today we have a lot to go over. We're going to get through all 9 of these different steps. A lot of this material is presented right from KW. This is Keller Williams' Interaction and Understanding of AI, and I really, really love the introduction that they're going to do. That red one, number 8 at the bottom, we're going to spend a little bit more time there putting AI into action, where we're going to see it work together. If we have time, we're even going to have you do one prompt on your own, because I do see all of us have, I think all of us have a computer in front of us today, so we can jump in and do some of this together. And it's going to be all out of our packet. So this packet is really going to drive our day today. The QR code on the screen is to just link you to this packet for the AI Playbook. I sent it to you in an email. It's in the chat on Zoom, and you have the QR code up here. And since we have some people in here, I have some printed copies for the people who are in person. Who needs a printed copy? All right. Who else needed one? I think it's, I only have a couple left. You need one? Yes, you want one. Okay, perfect. Oh. All right. See, now we're starting to fill in. Y'all, there's plenty of seats over here, and I don't spit too much when I talk. All right. We are going to start right off with some mindset about AI. This is the cool cover page in color of what we were just looking at here, and the link to get it again. But number 1, I'm going to read to y'all from Gary. He asked me to read this to you. Let's see. I'm in my wrong one, that's why. Here we go. What was it? Oh, yeah. All right, here we go. As real estate agents, we wear dozens of hats: consultant, marketer, negotiator, sometimes therapist. AI can take on the repetitive hats so we can focus on the human side of our work. AI is not here to replace us as agents. It can read the room, it can't read the room during a negotiation or reassure a nervous first-time home buyer. What it can do is take busy work off of your plates. And that's what we're here to do today. I will tell you up front, AI does not do much for you. It's not going to go do these things. It's not going to send the email for you. It will not do that. It's not going to make that calendar invite for you. There are AIs out there that do that. We are talking about large language models today, which is your ChatGPT, your Grok, your Gemini, Copilot. I mean, there is an endless list of these companies putting out their own generative AIs. And there are additional companies that do more specific work, like being able to schedule things from emails and build things into your calendar. You will pay a lot more money for those AI tools. They're out there, they solve very specific problems, and there's some really cool stuff that you can do with them. I have an agent that is making YouTube videos right now where all he did was create an AI avatar of himself, and every video you see on his page from the last 3 weeks, it's not him actually speaking, nor is it him in the video. It's all created by AI. And if you didn't know that, if I didn't just tell you that, you'd have to have a pretty keen eye to know that it's AI. Because if you just watch it real quick, you'd be like, that's Sean. That's him right there. It looks like him, moving like a video. The voice is his voice, but it's all created through AI. But he pays for 3 different tools to make that happen. And it's a few $100s a month to make that happen. It's really worth it for him because he doesn't have time to record the videos himself. And he can take one of his blogs, tell the AI to turn the blog into a script, take that script and load it into his video creator. And then I think it's called HeyGen, H-E-Y-G-E-N is the video creator. And then it makes that video of him sitting in front of a microphone like it's a podcast. And it looks like a video that he recorded. So there are advanced places past this. Today is an introduction to large language models, which that's just a fancy way for what most of you think of when you think of the word AI, ChatGPT and Grok and all of these generative large language models. And we'll get into a little definition of what that means. But before we go any further, we need to clear up some of the misconceptions about AI. And there's 7 myths that we're going to go over. Number 1, AI understands like a human. It doesn't. It is not a human. It predicts patterns based on what you tell the system. And I'm on page 5 right here. Or sorry, it's not page 5 for you guys. 4, thank you. Page 4 for you. This is something I need you all to understand. It predicts patterns based on what you type in. All ChatGPT does is you tell it information, and then word by word, you guys, it predicts the next word of what it should say. It does not know what it's going to say when it starts. It is predicting every word as it appears on the screen. It's very good at predicting these words, but it's a prediction, which means there can be mistakes. It will make mistakes. It will hallucinate, meaning it makes up information and throws it in there, and it sounds real and really good. These are the responsibilities you have to check for, to see if information is accurate, to see if there are any, like, where did that data point come from? Because it will source its sources. It will tell you its sources if you tell it to. Say, if you put anything in, you need to give me a link of where you got that information so I can double check your work. So you can tell it to do that for you. But that's why we're here. So you learn all these little tricks about how to utilize these tools. So AI, not a human. Myth number 2, AI is always right. It's not. We've beaten that one up. Number 3, tech expertise needed. You don't need to be techie to use AI. In fact, all of them are built for non-techie people. If you can type, if you can talk, you can use AI. That's all you need to know how to do. Talk or type. Both is better. That's it. It's very conversational. It's very kind. It's never going to tell you that it's a bad idea. And that is something, not to say that it's just really fluffy and nice. It won't. Anybody see the South Park episode that just came out like last week? Anybody see it? It's all about AI. Go watch it. You're going to bust up laughing after this class, or go watch that. I think it's episode 4 of this season. So funny, but I bring it up because it will tell you every one of your really bad ideas are awesome ideas. It will. It will never tell you it's a bad idea unless you tell the AI to talk to you correctly and push back against ideas that there's better solutions. Otherwise, it's just going to be, you're going to say, hey, should I, do a giveaway for should I do a giveaway for a bouncy house? And it'll be like, oh my gosh, that's such a great idea. Give a bouncy house away. Your clients are going to love it. They're going to be in there, and you can. Don't give away a bouncy house. Nobody wants that. Nobody wants that. And AI won't tell you at first. You're going to feel really good because it's just going to be like, oh, what a smart idea to do that. It's going to build you up, and just know it does that for everybody. It's not for you. It's not personal. It doesn't think you're that amazing. It's just, that's how it's trained to talk to you by default. And we have to fix that. And we'll get into how to fix that in a little bit. Robotic content. We're going to fix that as well. It doesn't have to be robotic, but it will be if you don't tell it to not be robotic. Search engine only. I use my ChatGPT quite often as a search engine. I need a recipe for chicken pinga. Okay, I can just throw it into ChatGPT because I hate scrolling through their life story to get to the 7 ingredient list that I want. So I can just go to ChatGPT and use it like a search engine, but that's not all it is. It is a search engine, but it's so much more than a search engine. And that's the myth we have to correct here. Replaces relationships. It doesn't. Your AI is not that good. Even the stories and people you hear that are probably trying to sell you AI phone calls right now. Oh, we can do all of your lead follow-up for you with an AI voice. They can. They usually charge a really high amount up front and a pretty hefty amount monthly. And the reason they charge a lot up front and not much monthly is because they don't have any proof of success. They make their money on their sign-up fee. They don't care how you do after that. When you see that, when you hear them say this phrase, because they always say it, what are we pointing at? I have 1 minute just for you. But now I lost my train of thought. I had a good joke. Gil, where was I at? Place relationships. Say what? Oh, yes. These people that are selling you these AIs, or I mean, I just call it shiny objects, right? You get thrown all, and they always say this, all it takes is one deal to pay for the year. And that's the sign when I go, nope. If that's what you're telling me, that means that this is just for you to take my money up front and you don't care if it actually works or not. A lot of AI is like that right now. And just like, you remember when automated text messages came out and they worked really well up front? And then now every human that has a pulse can sniff out an automated text message in a moment, right? Because it got oversaturated and now the consumer market knows it. And they're going to know the AI callers as well. There's going to be a meme on Instagram somewhere that says, oh, just ask the AI callers this. And if they can't answer it, it's probably not a person. And that little question will get thrown out all over the internet. Everybody will start using it. And this whole AI calling thing will fall to the wayside just like it should. And yeah, it's going to get more advanced and it's going to get better and it's going to get not detectable. And you're going to pay a ton of money for that. And so I want you to not think about AI for doing things for you. This is not an assistant in terms of it's going to do work for you, but it is going to do types of busy work for you. It's going to help you with a lot of different things with efficiency. It's not going to be the effective piece. You still have to put the effect of all the things that you do with your AI. You have to make it effective by taking it from the tool and building it into the places that it can go to help you communicate, to help you market, to help you analyze. There are so many ways to, like, I use this tool every single day. I get $20 of value from my ChatGPT every day. And that's what I pay per month. I am a ChatGPT user. They're all pretty good, to be honest, if you're using like the top 5, and we're gonna see those in a minute. I suggest ChatGPT only because I'm very familiar with it. If you are already engaged with another AI platform, use it. I'm not saying to switch. If it works for you, use it. There are some good and there's better things like Gemini, I hear is really good at copywriting and really good for video stuff when you're integrating in scripts and video. ChatGPT, I think, is your jack of all trades. It's kind of really good at a lot of stuff. It's not great at anything, but it's really good at a lot of stuff. Gronk, I don't know. This is the Twitter one or the X one. I've never touched it, never used it, won't use it. So you're on your own with Grok. That's not the AI platform for Steven. So Trump? Oh, if Trump, I'm surprised they don't have an AI yet out for Trump. You sell the coins and all that stuff with it. And last, a myth that we find is we all think we have ample time to adopt AI. And I know not everybody's going to understand this analogy, but I want to bring you all back about 30 years. And do you remember when Google came out? Yes. So like I said, some of you might not understand this analogy, but I remember because I was a young kid. What did we do before Google? If you wanted to go research something and find information about something, what were you told to do? Go to the library, right? Go to the library. Well, even at AOL, we had like Lycos and a couple of search engines, but they didn't work very well, so they didn't get popular. They didn't change anything. Google changed the landscape. When they brought out the Google search index and how that Google search works, and I don't need to bore you with how it works, but it was groundbreaking, different than all the others, and it worked better, and it worked well. And at that point, we had people who are like, why would I use Google? I can just go to the library. I can just go to the library. I can go look up the books. Why do I need that when I have this ability? And if you're sitting here now going, why would I use AI? I can do this and I can do that. I'm not going to get into it yet. You're sounding like that person who's like, I'm just going to go to the library and not use Google. And did that person who said, I'm not going to use Google, do you think they use Google today? Absolutely. Did it make the libraries go away? No. So take this, all this stuff about AI. Yes, there are bad things about it happening in the world and it's causing some issues. We're not here to talk about that. We're here to talk about what it can do for your business. And part of that is understanding that you have to take some time to learn how to use these tools. And the time you take now is going to be an investment for as these tools get better and better, because they update every quarter. They're putting out a new ChatGPT, adding features, adding speed, adding ability. And the sooner you get into this and spend time learning it, the more you're gonna be like, oh, I'm so thankful. Because otherwise you're gonna be sitting there 5 years in at the library, getting on Google on the computer, trying to figure out how Google works. Now's the time to get into it. Urgency is in the moment to get this figured out. You need to be getting into this week after this class. You should be in your AI for at least an hour sometime later this week, testing it, training it, teaching it about yourself, and then getting it to do some stuff for you. So 2 buckets of AI in KW's opinion. You have AI that is going to help generate leads. And you're going to use the tool to help you generate leads. The other side is you're going to use it to get stuff done. I don't think stuff was the original word on that page. Today's class is focused on getting stuff done. Lead generation and those kind of tools in that section. I'm going to try and put together a second class after this one for more advanced AI use and just overall, but lead generation would be involved with that. But today, we are just getting stuff done in the AI playbook. And so let's quickly talk about large language models. This is just a fancy way. Large language model. ChatGPT, all the ones I've mentioned are large language models. Which what that means is they are trained on a giant data set of information. You know it as the internet. It's trained on all of the information on the internet. It knows it, it has access to it. And then this large language model that it knows languages is then going to take what you ask it to do, and then it's going to give back a predicted set of words. That's all it does. It looks really fancy because it's really good at doing that. That's all it's doing, is taking information from a large data set and then giving you a predicted response. It's generating that response every time you ask for it. It gets a little bit more advanced, but that's all it is it just knows a bunch of stuff and it can give you that information quickly and easily. Please. A synopsis of what? It can be. It can be. Well, it's never going to give you all the information. It has access to all the information. So when you ask any kind of question, it knows where to go pull information from. But for instance, like ChatGPT is not trained on certain things so that it's not racist, right? Or that it doesn't give responses that are unethical. So there are certain things that it doesn't get trained on, that they exit out of the model because they don't want it, you know, like that's the difference with Grok or the X one. They'll let it learn anything. And then you see Grok doing stuff like about a month ago, it started calling itself on everybody's tool Mega Hitler, I think, and like saying some really, really anti-Semitic stuff and calling itself Mega Hitler. And when you use Grok, that's like a normal thing that happens because it's a lot looser on what they train Grok on. ChatGPT has tighter requirements and rules about what the language model is using. That's your big difference between them. But like Google and Gemini, Google owns Gemini, right? Microsoft owns Copilot and Claude, and OpenAI, which is a subset of Microsoft, is ChatGPT. They have big interests in not stirring the pot in those ways. Elon Musk and X, they don't mind as much to stir the pot. They don't. And in fact, I think some people like to use it because it is the way it is on Grok. And if you use Grok or Gonk, I'm sorry, I always mess up the name. But if you're using it and you like it, use it. I'm not saying it's bad, I'm saying it's different. You know, I'm saying I don't want to use that AI because I trust ChatGPT a little bit more. Does that answer your question? Cool. All right. Let's see. All righty. So let's get into, first, we understand how large language models work now. And the next step is to pick your LLM. Are you going to use ChatGPT, Gemini? I wouldn't spend too much time exploring or trying to use multiple. Pick one and go with it. Because the next section you're going to see, you're going to put some serious work into training your AI, which going back and switching to another tool is a lot of work. And because you're going to have to put work in to get your LLM to respond in ways that are the ways you want. And you have to train it to do that. Like I won't leave my ChatGPT because it's so well trained. Like it would be a pain in the butt to retrain my GPT because for a year I've been training it and telling it how to talk to me, telling it how to talk to my clients, how to talk to this project, how to talk in this project. It knows a ton of information about me, and to retrain it all is a ton of work. And that's why I pick one and stick to it. ChatGPT is a really good one. If you're like, just tell me which one to go with, Stephen, ChatGPT, that's the one to go with. It's good at a lot of things. It's going to do everything you need. Personalize your AI assistant with the master prompt. We're going to talk about that in a moment. We're going to talk about perfecting your prompts and how to make them better. And then we're going to put your prompts into action after this. And so to start, the large language models, like I said, they all work in a very similar way. You put in an input, that input runs through the AI engine, and then it gives you an output. Very simple, right? That's all it is. You see some other pieces in here, LLM, that's ChatGPT, that's Claude, that's Perplexity, that's all these LLMs. An API connection, there are many third-party companies that you can pay an extra charge for. Some of them offer free options for APIs, but an API is just saying, hey, connect this place into my ChatGPT so that they can talk a little bit. Command does not have an API connection to the AIs currently. Other systems though, like Google, Gmail, Google Calendar, all integrate into ChatGPT really easily. And then it's kind of nice because then it can read my calendar when I have it put in there, so it knows that what's going on in my world. And so there are additional tools that you can connect into these, and or MCP connections are just larger data set connections as well, where it's like you can pay certain data centers, hey, I want that data, and then you can connect that data to ChatGPT, because remember, it's all about what you give it will be based on what you get from it. And so if I can give it a really big data set so it can do research in there for me, that's good for me if that's what I'm doing, right? Think if we could get an MLS connection into our GPT so that we could say, hey, find me all the properties that meet this description for short-term rental possibility. And then you have it run through all 27,000 listings for you to find those opportunities. That'd be great. We don't have one of those yet, but it's an example that I think you would all understand of how an MCP or an API connection can make these even more powerful by providing more data to them. Does that make sense? Mm-hmm. And then that output is all based on the input and the engine's work. We talked about these. What is it? Grok. That's what you call it. Grok, not Gronk. That's a character in a Disney movie, I think. Grok. The only one that's I wouldn't recommend as your main AI on the page here is Perplexity. Perplexity is the only one that I use outside of ChatGPT though. I use them both, but Perplexity I use for more as like a search engine that's just smarter than Google because it's really up to date on information. So I can ask it something like, I can say, Perplexity, what are the current mortgage rates for a 30-year FHA loan today? And it can tell me because it pulls the research up and it'll give me the article it pulled it from, and I can click on the article and read it, present it. I can even say, hey, turn this into a Facebook post if I wanted to, and it will turn that information into a Facebook post. Yes. Yeah, ChatGPT will do it. Perplexity, people like it because it's easy to use. I only use Perplexity on my phone. Right? Like I don't, it's like the AI more used to talk to on the phone because ChatGPT can do it, but it's just not as smooth and as updated it feels like with the information. Good question. Any other questions about LLMs to pick? For like building? None of them are that good at building anything with text on it. They stink at building that stuff. You know, on that, utilize Asia. She's a much better leverage point for design than AI is. You can pay for AIs that cost more money and give you better products that are specialized in making photos and flyers and things like that. There are AIs out there that are built for that and you'll pay for it more. But those specialty ones, like stuff like that, that's where you find these specialty AI companies that are like, oh, we'll do these videos like HeyGen. We'll do, there's one called Animoto, which is all about animation building videos instead of like stills. But there are stills out there and flyer makers and all that out there. But from the tools themselves, every time I've ever tried, the results have been incredibly disappointing. Like just delete it, not even worth saving to my computer, bad. Yeah, so graphics, simple, very, very simple stuff, or something that's not real, like make me a picture of a turtle riding a cat across the street. Like, yeah, it'll do that stuff really well. But you tell it, here's a picture of a house. My open house is this time, this time, this time. Build me a flyer. It looks like trash. Bad, 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 bad. Like it looks like a 10-year-old did it on like Microsoft Paint. For those of you, also my older folks that know what Microsoft Paint is. If you don't, well, lucky you. Good. Any other questions? All right. Let's keep it moving. This is the important part for anybody who's new, brand new to AI. you haven't chosen and started using an LLM specifically, this is the most important part of today's class. It will get you the most traction, is personalizing your AI. Because like I said, the information you give it is what it's going to respond with. So there's two ways that you're going to personalize it. You're going to tell it about yourself, and I'm going to give you some questions that you should be answering and giving it to your AI. And I'll tell you, giving it to your AI is as simple as, if you turn to page, a little bit ahead, but turn to page 11, you'll see there's a series of questions where what I would suggest to you is answer them on paper, take a picture of it, and then load it into your AI system of that picture and say, this is the information I want you to know about me. Store it in your memory. That's all you have to tell it to teach it something about you. You tell it something like the answers to all these questions, and you say, store that in the memory. That's it. And it'll go thinking, 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 memory saved. And then now, doorbell in here. I didn't expect to hear that either, T-Bone. Yeah, that was not expected. Now, you're going to go through and you're going to teach it about yourself. You turn the page, you're then going to teach it about your business. The better and the more information you put in here, the better your ChatGPT is going to be able to give you better information just out of the gate. And so taking some time to fill this out and load it into your ChatGPT, loading in, saying just put it into the chat and say, load this into your memory. That's all it takes. But the more information you give, the more detailed you can be about your business, the type of business, your targeted market, who you work with mostly, your style, all of that can be trained into the AI so that you don't have to do it every single time you're trying to utilize that. And the memory is always updating. You're going to go through and set it up with the information I've given you. But like I mentioned before, I've been training my ChatGPT for over a year, because as I'm working and as I'm doing something, like the last thing I trained it on was telling it not to do social media posts like it was doing, because they sucked pretty much. And everybody could tell they were AI made posts because it had the emojis in the ways that AI does it, had the dash. Everybody know about the M dash. That is a real red flag. If you see an M dash on somebody's post, it's almost a guarantee that they just copied and pasted that from AI. If you don't know what an M dash is, it is like a hyphen, but it's like three put together. It literally is just a long dash. No one knows how to even type it because it's not a button on your computer. That's how I know your AI did it. Because to get this, you have to hit like a keyboard combination on most of your computers to get this to print out. AI just knows how to print it. And so when you copy and paste it, and I see it in your social media post, I say the word M dash to you in person, and you're like, what's an M dash? I'm like, oh yeah, you're just using AI. And so I told it, no more M dashes, no more emojis as bullet points, no more talking like this or sounding like this. And it goes, memory updated. And then now, anytime I ask it for social media posts, no M dashes, no emojis, right? So I don't have to train it every time to correct itself. I just tell it, update this in your memory and apply it across all of my ChatGPT. Because sometimes I only want it to apply to certain things. We'll talk about that in a minute. But it's continuous. That's the piece to remember, is you're always training, you're always teaching it and making it better and knowing you better. And the more you do that, the smoother the process goes. Because now my ChatGPT is at a place where a lot of times I just tell it, hey, run this play, run the YouTube posting play, where it gives me the title of my YouTube video, the description for the YouTube video, the tag list for the YouTube video, gives me the email content to send that email to all of you. And all I have to do is say, hey, we just recorded a video, run the play. And then it's been trained well enough that I don't have to explain any of that. I don't have to explain that it should be SEO optimized. I don't have to explain how to set the tags up. I've already done that. It remembers it, and then it just gives me the product that I want every time in the same way. That's what training your AI is about. That's what it takes, where when you first start using it, especially if you're on a free account, which the free accounts limit the amount of memory that you will be able to use. The free ChatGPT gives you like 10 documents and like 500 words to train it on. That's it. You pay $20 a month, and now you have an almost unlimited space of training memory for your ChatGPT. So I highly recommend you invest in paying for these, because the tools that become available are awesome. And I wouldn't use ChatGPT if it didn't have the memory. If I had to train it every single time to do some of this more detailed stuff, it would take me so long to do anything. $20 a month, well worth it for ChatGPT. They all range on their first tier, 20 to 30 bucks a month. They all have a tier above that, usually like an enterprise or a professional tier. I'm now just getting to the point where I'm considering moving up to the highest level, but I have not considered it until ChatGPT 5 and what they put out with that. And I'm still probably not going to upgrade yet, because $20 to $200, that's a lot more. But we're going to just mention some of the stuff that came out in ChatGPT 5 that is the scary AI stuff, that when you're like, when you think of scary stuff happening with AI, that's what it does. And right now, for $20 a month, I only get to do it 40 times. If I pay $200 a month, I get to do it 400 times a month. So maybe worth it. And when you see what it can do, you'll be like, holy buckets. Like it is.
Wait, what?
We're not yet. We'll get to that. Okay. So just a little help setting up your ChatGPT, your Grok, your Gemini. First, tell it how to talk to you. Do you want it to be friendly, formal? Do you want it to talk to you like a Gen Z person? No, I don't. Do you want it to be direct, patient? Tell it how to talk to you. I have to tell the ChatGPT, like at one point I was like, stop being so soft and nice to me and tell me if my ideas are bad. Because otherwise it's just going to fluff you up every time, every single time. And you'll just, oh, great, good idea. This is great. And it will fully plan out a terrible idea of yours if you let it. And it won't mention for a moment that it's bad, unless you tell it to be more, to push back more against your ideas. And I tell mine too, because I don't want to, I have bad ideas. I have more bad ideas than I have good ideas. And so I need it to tell me that kind of stuff. But you set it up with first, how does it talk to you? Then you're going to train it on how does it talk to others for me? That's different, because the way I have my ChatGPT talk to me, I don't want it printing and making emails for me in the way that it talks to me. I have to train it how to talk to my clients, because then I do want it to be more friendly, formal, and not poetic, succinct. Those are how I want it to talk to my clients: friendly, formal, and succinct. And when you tell your ChatGPT that talk to me like this, build all of my copy like this, it remembers that, and then it builds the copy in ways. Do you all know what I mean by copy? Is that a word that I'm not losing anybody with? Just writing, text, copy. But when it's writing your copy, it's going to be better right away. And you're still going to have to adjust and adapt and change it and have it rerun and for some stuff. But then the more you do it, the better it gets. It remembers, then it just starts giving you what you want with one question, because it knows what you want exactly. When you say, write me this email, well, it knows write me this email actually means 10 different things and different styles, and this needs to be included, a call to action, and in this framework. And when you train it, it makes it so much more usable. But how it speaks to you and how it speaks to what you're doing, different things, train it on both. We talked about the personal information. You can sit in front of your ChatGPT and just say, my name is this, my family is blah, 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 blah. My hobbies are. You can just type it in there if you'd like. You can talk it into the ChatGPT or into the AI tool. You can just speak it in there if you'd like. Or you can write it down on here, take a picture of what you wrote down, and then load that picture into ChatGPT and say, this is what I want you to know about me. That's it. Very simple. And then step 3 is doing it for your business. Yes. Yeah. So it's going to stay. So what Beverly asked is she's asking about, where does the data go? When you put information in, does it stay in just your account? No. All of these platforms are data companies. Data companies make money off of data. And when you give them a ton of data, which if you sign up for these, they're going to ask you terms and conditions, and somewhere in there, it's going to say, we have access. We're not going to do anything bad to it. It's not going to be tied to people. I don't believe them. We have no way to check either. So you have to be aware that if you load anything into ChatGPT, it is going into ChatGPT's world for whatever they're going to do with that data. I don't know what they're going to do with it. I don't know if it's safe. Well, what they're going to really do is they're going to sell that data. That's what they are, is they're data brokers. So when they can learn about 10 million people using this platform that are all giving it all this information, think about how much data that is and how they can predict buying trends, how they can predict other things that companies that want to know about these trends will pay for that data, and they'll sell that data easily to them for billions of dollars. Now, a lot of it removes like identity and all that stuff, or they say they do. I have no idea or way to check it. So you'll hear in the compliance page that don't put in information you don't own. Don't put in information you don't want somebody else to know about. Like change the client's name. You can do that. You can change it back to their name on the back end when you actually send it to them. All right, so be careful with that. We'll get to a little bit more, but it's a good thing to note that these are the compliance pieces that you have to be aware of using AI, right? You can't copyright something AI made for you. You didn't make it. It's not yours. Your image from the photographer, that image does not belong to you most times. For most photographers, you don't own that image. They do. You have a license to use that image. Your license may not involve putting it into ChatGPT for analysis. Be careful with that stuff. Like, is that photographer ever going to be able to check? I don't think so. Right? Because they're not going to get into OpenAI's world and be able to, oh, Steven uploaded that picture 3 weeks ago that I own. Like, they don't have any way to do that, but I'm not looking for a lawsuit, right? So be aware of this stuff. Know the rules. Know that there's not really anybody checking them either. So take that information as you will. All right. Any other questions about things to put in about your personal or your business? Look through all of these different items. Any questions about adding these in, or what information to provide, or why it's in there? Mm-hmm. Yep. The only thing that I would adjust in that story is you need to sign in to the AI tool that you're using. Because if you don't sign in, if you just go to chatgpt.com and you've never signed in, yeah, have to sign in. Even if it's a free account, you don't get the memory unless you sign in. All right. So if you're just going to chatgpt.com and starting to use it without signing in, which you can do, it's not going to save any memory. Yeah, usually it keeps you signed in until you like clear your cache or update your browser. It'll just keep you signed in if you're signed in. Like I just use my KW account to sign into ChatGPT, and not my KW account, my KW email to sign in there. And simple, easy, 20 bucks a month. I love it. Sounds like you got a better deal than I did. I'm not too worried about it because, like I said, I get so much value. Like they could charge me $100 a month, and I'd probably still pay for what I get now. I'd probably pay $100 a month for it because it's so essential and it's so useful for my efficiency. Yeah, they're all like 10 to 30 bucks. I would say it's going to fall into that range for the first tier of most of them. The free plans, I wouldn't recommend any of the free plans. All right. So now we've trained our AI. I want you to put yourself into the future. We've trained your AI a little bit better. Now you're going to start utilizing the AI. And again, it comes into what are you telling it? What are you asking it to do? Because perfecting your prompts is truly how you get good at using an AI tool, is knowing how to ask for what you want. And what can help is a framework or a model that you make sure that you go through all 4 of these steps. Every time you ask it for a large project or something complex, you're going to break that prompt down into 4 sections that we call RICE. R-I-C-E. Role, explain who the assistant is. You are going to be a social media copywriter. That's its role. Instructions, tell the model what you want it to do. I want you to make a 30-day social media plan with videos, pictures, and story posts for me for the month of October. Context, add any extra information the model needs. I am doing the trunk or treat event on the 11th of the month, and I want to promote it at the beginning of the month. I'm going to also be doing buyer and seller tips every Thursday on a video, and I need a script for it. Example. Then I'm going to show it an example of some other agent's post that I'm like, I want to do that. And I'm going to show that post to the ChatGPT. And now, do you see how that's going to get me a way better result? Just say, make me a social media plan for October. So if I just say that, it will, and it'll be pretty good. But when I give out all that other information, and now it's got 5 posts already built for me to promote the trunk or treat, it's got my other videos already in sequence, that they all make sense together. It gives me the product that I want when I can tell it more specifically what I want it to do. And so let's look at a little example. Here's a prompt: write an email to an investor about a good property deal. Not bad. Nando might know how this one goes. I'm sure you've sent emails similar or wanted to send emails like this to people about a good property deal, right? When this is the response I got. Subject: great property. Hello, I wanted to let you know about a property deal I think you might like. It's a good property with potential to make money. Let me know if you want any more details. Right? Like, it did do what I asked it to do. It told it about a good property deal. Now, I would not send this email. Please don't send this email. Please don't. Now, let's take a look at when we apply RICE. Role: act as an expert copywriter specializing in cold email conversion. Instructions: write an email using the PAS framework. Keep it under 150 words. The style should be succinct, conversational, and punchy. You already see how this prompt is 10 times better of what it's going to sound like and look like. Context: we give it a very simple example for the subject line, and here's the response it gives us. Hi, investor name. Finding high yield inventory is tougher than ever. Most investors are chasing the same MLS deals. That's the problem. Here's the solution. I've got a 12 unit in East Austin, direct to seller, no bidding war, clear financials, and strong value add potential with a projected 9 to 11% cap rate. If you want details, I can send them over today. Best, Steve. Which email is better? The second. Is it perfect? No. I think there needs to be additional. I would train this even more, because I pulled that prompt off of something else, but I would train this, or I would ask it more. I would say there needs to be a stronger call to action in here. That's the missing piece that I think is there's not a very clear email me back or reply for details or click here to see the home. There's no call to action in this email. So I would just tell the ChatGPT after this, we need to add a call to action to get them to do X, whatever I want them to do. I'm going to tell add the call to action, then it will rewrite my email, and then I'm going to re-edit it again, make sure it's good. Then I'm going to load it into Gmail and send that email off. The way that you structure and tell the tool will be the determining factor of your results. You can see it easily that if you give it a simple, vague prompt, you get a simple, vague answer. When you give it a specific and detailed prompt, you get a more specific and detailed answer. The skill of using these tools is about your prompts. This is what you need to get better at as you are working with ChatGPT. Is every prompt I do need to be this detailed? No. Sometimes it's really simple. But then also, as I train my ChatGPT, it starts to learn, oh, every time you ask for a buyer email, you ask for it in the same way with the same details. It's going to start learning that from you and then just start doing it for you as you ask. After you've asked for 4 or 5 emails of the same thing in the same RICE structure, it's going to start learning that and then just start doing it for you. And if it doesn't, you tell it to do, hey, every time I write an email like this, just follow this structure. Role, context, role, and role, instruction, context, examples. So prompts, this is where the work is, that at first you're going to give it crappy prompts. Even when you're trying to do good ones, they're going to probably be kind of crappy. That's okay, because you're going to get a kind of crappy response. Then you're going to go back to it and go, oh, it's missing this piece. I need to tell it this at the beginning. Okay, let's try again. And it's a learning curve at the beginning. And as you do it more and more, it gets easier and easier because it's learning more and you're learning more as well, how to work together to get what you want. Yes. So, yep. If I'm going to send this in bulk, I would be going to command and I would build that email into a smart plan. And then I would send those 12 people that smart plan with that one email. Yes. Yep. If it's bulk, right? If I'm doing it to multiple people, that's much easier to do in command. instead of going to Gmail and having to send 12 individual emails to them and just copying and pasting and changing their name. But in Command, I can have their name dropped in from the contact card. I can build this into a smart plan, just a single simple email, and then send it to those 10 people. They all get it individually. It says all of their names on its own. Simple. So a lot of what I do is build it in ChatGPT and go into Command and build it into the smart plan. Tasks and text messages, emails, all the structure, because I build it here. I have ChatGPT tell me when it should happen, what day should be what, and I'm giving it advice on what I want, but it's giving me the full plan. Like, you should be making a call here, and you should be texting here, and this is the text conversation you should have. I can even say, hey, if they respond like this, give me 5 different responses from that text message so I'm prepared when they respond back. Right? So I can use this. The more I push it, the more it's going to give me to help me with my campaigns, to help me with whatever task I'm trying to do in here. But after you get the prompt, it's not always perfect. And I utilize almost every one of these on a daily basis to push the system, to push the tool to get me better answers. Simple one. Number 1, clarification. After it gives you the response, or even before, I tell it all the time, ask me any questions you need to know before you can build this plan, or before you build this email. Ask me any questions that you need to know, or ask me 3 questions, ask me 5 questions. Then it asks, and I answer them, and then it does the prompt. Number 2, show your work and cite your sources. That's an easy one to add in. Anything that needs to be accurate, I ask for it to show its work and cite its sources. The action plan hack. If it's confusing or you don't know what it's saying, say, break it down. Just tell it, break it down more for me. That's it. And it will go through and add more detail and more support for you to understand how to do what it's giving you. The options hack. This is another one I use every time I am building something, where the title of this class is a great example. Every time I title one of these classes, I say, ChatGPT, here's what the class is about. Here's my plan. Give me 10 titles for this. Then I go, okay, I like number 1, 5, and 7. Give me 10 more that are like 1, 5, and 7. Now I have a list of 10 titles that I usually can get the one I want from. Or I go, ooh, I like the first part of number 1, and I like the second part of number 7. And then I just put them together and tell, hey, ChatGPT, this is the title we're going with. Now let's move on to the next step, because then it builds out my description on Calendly, and it builds out the email that goes to Rocio. It builds out the invite emails that you all got. Builds out the text messages you all got. It builds out the second email and the third email. Builds all of that for me, because I just tell it, all right, let's move on to the next step for this class. And then it goes boop, 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 social media posts, emails, all of it, just like that. But have it give you options. That's a great way. Give me 2 other options of what I could do with this lead. Hey, this person just responded to this ad. They said this. Give me 3 ways to respond. Boom. Now you know how to respond to that weird inquiry on Facebook, or on that flyer that you left on a doorstep and somebody messaged you like something mean or weird. Use this to help. Second opinion hack. That one's pretty self-explanatory. Critique your own answer. Just tell it, hey, critique this. Is it good? You analyze this, see if it's good in your opinion. Blind spot hack. That's another really good one I have to use because I'm dumb and I make lots of mistakes. So I ask it, what am I missing here? Is there something that I should be adding that I'm not? Is there something that I should be taking away that I'm adding in? I'm always just getting it to kind of give me an opinion or give me a little feedback on what it thinks this is, because that stops it from being the Steven, you're awesome ChatGPT, and it goes back and says, hey, maybe you could do this instead, or this is an alternate way to do this. And so use the blind spot hack. And then last, steelman hack, tell it to argue against what it just told you to do. And see if that argument convinces you. Because if it does, don't do it. That easy. But you can get this to argue in the opposite point of view. Hey, should I do this instead? Or argue against this and tell me what I should do instead. It will give you answers for that. So push. This is what I mean by pushing the tool. Doesn't mean like just try it again. Sometimes I do just tell it, try again, because that sucked. And then it does it again. But more often I'd be more specific with my hack here and saying, break it down. Give me 3 different solutions. I'm being more specific with the follow-up to push the tool to give me better information if I didn't like the first response. Okay. These are golden. You'll find these on page. The hacks. Page 15. Yes. They're all in there. You can see them all in here for your future reference. And I will send you the slide deck as well. Tomorrow, when you get the email, the slide deck will be in there if you want to see it in this way. All this, and again, this is just coming out of the AI Playbook. That's what I'm holding up here for my Zoomers online. AI Playbook is what we are in, and that was on page 15 of the AI Playbook. The QR code will get it to you if you still need it. Now, if you look at the next page, oops, sorry, not the next page, go to page 18. You just skip one or two. Page 18 in your playbook. At the top, it says 36 touch frameworks. Your 36 touch is very complex. You can have this help you build your 36 touch. What this page is about is frameworks for how to write copy. So if you look at the first one, PAS, on our last example that we just did, do you see how I told it to use the PAS framework in the instructions? And you can read what PAS is on the page. It's just a way to structure how you're telling the story in the email. And all of these are different frameworks. And notice at the bottom of each of the boxes, it has a pro tip of when that framework is best applied. So what I'm going to do with this is I'm literally just going to take a screenshot of this page and tell my ChatGPT, every time you write something to a client, you should use the best framework for the situation. If you don't know the best framework, ask me what the best framework is for the situation. Because then it's going to pick. If it sees in here, best for long pages and ads, and I tell it to build a long form blog, it'll know just to go with the attention, interest, desired action framework. If it doesn't know, because I'm asking it to do something that's not listed here, then it's just going to ask me. And that's how I would train my ChatGPT to utilize these frameworks. So it's a better writer. And when you read this, after reading what a PAS framework is, you go, oh, I get it. This is a little bit more psychological in this response when I use this framework that is built to get people to move into action. Right? There are purposes to these frameworks, and being more purposeful about it will help your chat or your AI tool do better for you. So utilize these, bookmark this page in here. This is an important page for us to know these frameworks, and for really your ChatGPT or your AI tool should know these frameworks so it can apply them. That's a little bonus for y'all. And then now I want y'all to turn back a page to page 17. We're going to move through a couple of pieces here, but I want to talk about I'm going to use it going forward because I want you to look through this list on page 17. We're on page 17 here. To match the slides, we're going to look at this. Page 17. All here, 1 through 6, and the marketing and education, property and transaction, strategy, operations. Do you see anything in there that would help your business today? Look through the list. Is there anything in there that would help your business today? Absolutely. I think everybody in here could probably see 2 or 3 things that could help their business today. Now, this is how you're going to use this packet when you go home. Every page after page 17, starting with the frameworks, goes through each of the items on that list on page 17, giving you a prompt to start with. If that thing that you think is going to help your business, find the prompt. That's the first one you're going to go into your ChatGPT after you train it, and you're going to drop this prompt in there. Copy it right from the digital page, paste it into your ChatGPT for whichever one you like and want to work on, and see what it does. These are your starting points for all of those different pieces. And again, this is not the limit. This is just some examples to get your brain thinking, how can I use this tool? And start with the ones that are going to have an impact on your business first, but note it in here so you can go back to it. That's why you want this document, is for these prompts, because you will see, you'll drop one of these prompts in and it will do more than any prompt that you could probably create right now. They're great starting places to help you with these items. You can meet with me one-on-one and we can do some of these together. If you're like, Steven, I'm still a little nervous. Can we run some prompts together and you can help me, converse with the AI to get what I want? Absolutely. Schedule a 30-minute one-on-one. We can do that over Zoom. Super easy to do together if you want some more support. But I mentioned this because this is what your next steps are, is training your AI. That's the first step. Well, picking an AI, training it, and then start utilizing some prompts that we've given you to get you that leg up. So you're not trying to figure out how to start from scratch. This is giving you that little easy button into all of these. So we are not done. We are definitely not done. Yes. So let me show you some stuff about AI that you might not know that it does. This first thing is huge for you guys. Recurring tasks. Now, first of all, you have to understand it's not going to do any tasks for you. It's not going to go respond to that email. It's not going to go add a task to your phone. It's not going to do that. It's going to deliver information for you. Reoccurring tasks act like automated reminders that you schedule to show up at a set time and repeat daily, weekly, hourly, monthly, quarterly. The timing is up to you. They act like done for you executive assistants, providing you exactly what you need when you need it and always on time. But it's not doing anything. It's not going to go do tasks for you. It's going to deliver information. So what I have, one of my reoccurring tasks is every day, I tell ChatGPT, every day at 9:35, I want you to send me a summary of all current mortgage statistics and news. I want you to give me a breakdown of the current Denver metro area real estate market. And then I give it details on what I want in there. And then I want you to give me any news articles that are important for today, something like that, I said. And then every day, I get an email at about 9:35 that tells me all of that information. So it doesn't email me the information. It says, hey, ChatGPT just sent you a message. And you click a button in the email and it opens the message. I also get a notification on my phone from ChatGPT that says this has been done. And then if I'm in ChatGPT itself, I'll see it there. And this is the response it gave me this morning or yesterday, I don't remember. But market highlights, mortgage rates, action prompts. I think it told it to put in some social media stuff too. So give me a little blurb for social media to post, quick follow-ups, news articles, more market stuff. And so it can break down and just deliver all of that information to me every day at the time I describe it to. There's other things that you can get it to do based on what it knows inside your ChatGPT. The next one I'm going to set up is having it build out some of the information that I send out to you guys every month. I'm going to have it do some of those tasks and just provide it to me on the timeline that I want it to, because I ask it to do it every month anyway. Now I just have to tell it, hey, every month at this time on this date, I want you to do this. And so you can set up those reoccurring tasks for the system to do. But I just want you to know it's not going to do any of those tasks outside of delivering information to you. What questions do you guys have about reoccurring tasks? Please. It just shows up as a chat in ChatGPT. So it's literally just a chat that it creates and delivers to me. It could, but it doesn't do that. It won't do that. It won't email it to you. The email that I get, huh? Grab what from? Ooh, where do you grab what information? No, this is in ChatGPT, and this is where I get it, is right here. And like to set it up, here, let me get through all of the testing phase. I do get it, and then it opens up the chat. That's it, yeah. So if I have ChatGPT on my phone, and you can see the bar notification that I got this morning when it delivered that information. I can just tap on that, and then it opens up my ChatGPT on my phone to this chat that I'm on my screen, right? So then it just opens up to this part of the chat. You can see it's done a couple of days in here for me. And then to get down to today, I got to scroll down and find today's information, right? So it just delivers it all in the same chat every time. And so then and when you get the email, it just links you to the chat. When you get the notification on your phone, it links you right to the chat so that it'll just show up when you click it. Well, and that's an article that I had it bring in. Housing supply is bounced, and you can see it even asked me at the end, do you want me to create here? Where does it say it? Oh, it doesn't on this one, but I can just tell it, hey, turn this into a social media post for today. Turn this into a Facebook post, or give me a video script that describes this article that, this one, housing supply has bounced back in some markets, right? I can click on that and say, hey, or tell it, hey, build me a blog from that, or build me a script for a video. I can use this, or if you're doing social media, tell it to give you social media ideas every day, or every Thursday, give me a script for a buyer education video, or give me a script for 3 tips for sellers, or right, you can just have it deliver you information. And social media is the first place that I know I need more information. I need more support in being able to put my social media marketing out there. This is a great way to go. If you're like, I'm sure there's ways to figure out how to do tasks with like investors and foreclosure and having it look through some of those publicly available sites to deliver the information that you want about those pre-foreclosure homes, right? That if you got a report from that every day with here's the email to send to them, or here's the phone conversation to have with that specific client from that house, right? Like it can do all that for you. You just open it up every morning, go find it, and there's your information on how you're going to lead gen that day, right? So I've told it every day at 9:40 a.m. deliver this to me every day. Nope. And yeah, and it even asked me when I was setting up, it was like, do you want this to go on forever? Do you want it to stop after a certain number or a date? It asked me all of that stuff. And I just said, nope, continue to do it until I tell you to stop. So yeah, recurring tasks, huge, like such an awesome piece to deliver information that you're normally going to get on a regular basis. Just have the AI deliver it to you at that same rate. As long as the information is available, because if you have to like log in to get the information, AI can't log in for you anywhere. Well, kind of can't now, but that's that scary special stuff that I was talking about. It can kind of log in, because the scary special stuff that they just launched in ChatGPT 5 is called an agent. And an agent basically takes over your screen and then is a digital person clicking. Like I had it go update tags for me in my command, where I just had to go take over the screen, log in, give it back its access. And then it went through, searched. I had a list from a CSV file, grabbed the first person in the list, pasted it into the search bar in my database, pulled that contact up, clicked on them, clicked the pencil, added the tag, saved, went to the next contact. And you can watch it do it all. It's wild. But that's what I only get 40 requests of per month, is having that kind of action done. Because it can do some pretty wild stuff. Like a buddy of mine, he had it build a whole spreadsheet for him, and it does all the formulas. He just said, this is what I want you to do in the spreadsheet. Then it literally goes in and starts building the formulas in the spreadsheet for you, typing all of that. And then you have it run an analysis on it. As an active user, it will go through and try and break it for you and then find the errors. Like, it is crazy. And that's what I'm considering paying an extra $180 a month for. So instead of 40 requests like that, I get 400 requests. Because, anything that I'm doing that I can train it to do, I can have it run at night. So it does it while I'm sleeping, because it will take your computer over. If you leave the screen, it stops that action from happening. So you got to kind of have a dedicated computer if you want it to run in the background for you. So no, that's the agent. That's the agent feature that's in ChatGPT 5 now. It's just another feature to sell, right? And something they can tier. And like, I thought the $200 price point never had enough value for me. Now it does. Now I see the value because they've added this feature, right? And then it has deep research as well. That's the other thing that you can start using now, is telling it to do deep research. That is a term that it understands, where it will then go off onto the internet on its own and spend 10 minutes pulling in all kinds of data, finding all kinds of stuff. Then it gives you its deep research report about something. So I've had it go, I'll tell it, I need you to do a deep research on the Colorado real estate market. Right, and then it goes in and tries to find everything it can across the internet, Zillow, Redfin data, RE Colorado data, anything that's available without a login. It goes and does all this deep research and cites it all. It's awesome. But you only get, I think, 20 deep research requests a month on the $20 plan, I think. I might be wrong. I've never run out, so I don't really know because I don't do it too often. Per area, yeah. You give it a zip code or give it cross streets, latitudes. What you tell it is what it's going to do. So if you say, give me an analysis of 80010, it'll do that for just that zip code, or deep research on just that zip code or just that neighborhood. What you tell it to do is what it's going to do. Recurring tasks, projects. This is really important as well. And I think it's easiest just to see projects live, because projects are like subs of all of my chats. Because you see over here, I have my new chat, search chats, which it's nice to search your chats when you're like, I know I talked to you about that recipe for chicken. Where is it at? Well, just search your chats and it'll pull up the chats that have chicken in it. Library, I actually don't know what the library is, but we'll move on. And then you're gonna have these, you see these here, that ends with Canva, starts with Codex. Those are called GPTs. So you have ChatGPT, that's the whole thing. But then there are specially made GPTs that other people have made that they've trained for specific purposes. And one that you all should get into is the Gary.ai GPT. This is Gary.ai is going to tell you, based on your personality, here are the lead generation strategies we suggest. Here are the marketing strategies we suggest. Here's your schedule we suggest. And you can keep it going and saying, tell me how my personality should fit into this business and what is best for me. Gary AI is a cool one to utilize for yourself. We use it now for pretty much every new recruit that comes in. We run it through Gary AI to give them a better plan to get going with. Ashley, you have a question? Good question. So you'll see the word GPTs here with the little 4 boxes around it. Let me zoom in a little bit so you can see it a little better. Oh, it's too far. There we go. This one right here that says GPTs, when you click on that, you can search for GPTs. One of the good ones to search at the beginning is a prompt optimizer. And you'll see there are dozens of different GPT prompt optimizers, but just be careful. Look at how many downloads it has. This one has 900 downloads, which means not many people are using it, compared to this one that has 50,000 downloads. I'm going to use the one that 50,000 people are using because it's probably better. But a prompt optimizer helps you write better prompts. It's an AI that helps you talk to AI better. So that can be a helpful one. You see, I have a doctor GPT. Please don't think that you should replace your doctor with a GPT, but it can be helpful. This one I built for the team that I work for, and we're building a GPT for the team just because I can train it better. And I can train it more specifically to the team. Gary AI, I have a stock in crypto and all this other stuff because it's trained on a lot of things in there and gives really good reports. And I just say, here's my positions. Give me a summary, give me this, give me that about my stock positions. Canva, that Canva one doesn't work very well. I'll just tell you that. It does not. I've never had any success. I always just end up going into Canva and doing it myself. Sometimes it can kind of bring some efficiency in, but usually it's like, would it take me 2 seconds to do what it just took me 6 minutes to train or trying to ask you to do? I can just do it in Canva myself. But those are helpful. And then below that, notice now I have my project list, which projects are a subset of chats that are specific to that project. So you see here, I have the agent services. I provide agent services for agents where they pay me to do things that they don't want to do. And that's my project where I keep all of those chats and how it should produce the content for that agent. And if you go into agent services, each chat is a different agent that I'm working with because they get their own dedicated chat for me. And I can tell it how to talk to the agents, how to build the copy for these people that I'm building for them, because it might not be the same of how I've told ChatGPT to build my copy. So the project, I can train specifically to the project. Say, for the agent services project, you will act like this. For the getting techie with it, this is all, every time I teach a class, you'll see a chat for every class that I've taught this year in here, because I use this to help me build these classes and build a promotion. I've had to draw back because I did see some research that says AI is making us dumber. And it definitely felt like that. I was losing skills because I was relying too much on the AI to produce stuff, and it didn't produce better stuff than me. I can produce better. So I just changed my approach. I do a lot more on my iPad right? Where you guys see I write a lot on this thing, and then I just take pictures of what I wrote. Then I start the chat with, here's my ideas for the class. Help me structure, help me build, help me do all these other things for the class. But you see, I can train this project where I can give specific rules that if it's in the Getting Techie With It project, it needs to sound like this. You should respond or build social media messages like this and like this. And I train the project even more specifically than I train my overall GPT, because I can make it specific to this project's task. And, I do other stuff in here too. I have a little health and fitness one where this is where I loaded in my results from my doctor, and I gave it all my blood work, and I gave it all my goals for fitness. And then it built me a workout plan that I just follow now. And every day I go in and say, give me week 4, day 1, and then boom, there's my workout. That's my ChatGPT is my trainer, my personal trainer as well. Because if I have to think about what I'm doing, I'll just not work out. But if I just have a list of saying, do these things, I'll do it every time. And I love being able to do that. I have it do my grocery shopping, help me grocery shop every week, where I say, hey, this is what we're making. I just learned how to use a crock pot. And so we've been doing a lot of crock pot recipes, and we get them from ChatGPT. And I'm not going to tell my son that's why the food's been so good recently, because I'm just telling it's me. I'm just a good cook, dude. So all of these different projects, you can see there's no limit to the projects you can have. You can keep having more. And this just gives you more ability to train to a specific group or a specific task. For you guys, I'd recommend, if I was just having my real estate business, not all my other businesses in there, I'd recommend you have a marketing project that you train about all your marketing. Same thing for prospecting, on how do you follow up with people, and what does it sound like when you follow up? What scripts are you practicing for your prospecting? Build a prospecting project. Operations, all of your documentation of your business systems, and it helping you actually write out what you do. So when it's time to hire an admin, you can hand over your operations manual. We'll have an operations project that builds out all of those, and you have different chats. You will probably have a post-closing chat and a buyer conversion chat and a seller conversion chat. And that all falls under maybe the operations, for where you have all of your, when this happens, you do this, and then you put them into command, and then you tag them with this, and you do this. And it'll help you build all of those operations manual or other systems in your business. If you have a VA, give them a project folder. You saw Emmy was one of my projects, Emmy. And she gets her own folder. She needs to do her own over my law, another $20 a month, because you can get GPT as well on most of these, and you pay per seat. They are better deals for the team project, because for me to get the $200 level individually, it's $200. If I had another person on my team, it's $25 a month for each of us, and we get the $200 a month features. So if you know somebody in here that you might want to partner with, I will not partner with you, because I would have to retrain my whole GPT to change to that structure. I'm not willing to do that, so you're on your own. But if you have somebody else in here that might be starting off new and like, hey, I'm going to be using the crap out of this as soon as I learn how to use it, do you want to go in on the team membership? Just know that you have visibility on both. So it's not very private in that way, but can save you some money to get you some more value if you want to go that route. And then events, if you do events, have an events project so that you can train it on how you run events and what you want to do and your processes, and you can have it build your operations manual for your events. And then, of course, listings. Listings probably need their own, because this, I would have a comparables chat in there. I'd be training it on the listings project, would be trained really heavily on how we do our data analysis and how I want it to pull comparables, what I'll give it, what I want it to do when I give it the comps, because I don't like having ChatGPT choose my comps. I go into the MLS, select the comps that I think are appropriate. Then I have the MLS give me the full property to display of all of those with the pictures, because I don't really care about the copyrights in there. I didn't say that, but I take all of those, I put them all in, and I put all those pictures and all the information from the MLS printouts for all the comps, and I say, here are the comps for the subject property. Here's the subject property. Then I've instructed it on what to do to then give me a market price and a head of market price. And then it gives me, here are your backups of this is why we chose this price. Here's how you talk to the seller about it. Here are the main reasons why comps were different or why the higher ones were higher. Well, those all had 2-car garages and the subject property has 2 spaces for parking. And it gives me that so I can tell that to the seller, right? It's just prepping me so I can have a good conversation with the seller. And then it always ends with, would you like to prepare this? Or would you like me to prepare this in an email to the seller? And if I do, I'd say yes, and it prepares a nice email for me. I edit it, anything I need to do, copy, paste it into Google, and then shoot it off. So projects, this is how you get deep and start getting really engaged with your GPT. You saw how many projects I have, and those are all trained. Like, that's why I'm not going to restart and try and start from scratch again, because I've done so much work training all these different projects, and you'll get there too. And then you're, about 6 months in of doing this on a regular daily basis of training and working with it, 6 months in, it starts cooking, where it's just so easy to use, and you start just plus one. What else can I do? What else can I do? What else can I do? And boy, you can do a lot. You can do so much, and projects will help you organize all that and be specific with the different targets or different pieces that you're using the tools for. Please. I normally don't. I have like a comparables chat that I just keep all of them in, but you easily could do a new chat for each one. I'll tell you, the way I was doing it did mess me up, because I was doing comps for 2 different homes, loaded in the subject properties, loaded in the comps, and then it got confused or screwed up because I don't think I told it wrong. But then it took the comparables from subject property 1 and used subject property 2, and then gave me the analysis across those. So it was using the wrong comparables for the wrong subject property, and it was all in one chat. And I think that's why, is because it just got confused. And so I had to say, you messed up, do it again. You need to use the comparables for Moline with the file that says comparables for Moline. Like, it's still stupid. Like, the file's called comparables for Moline, and then it used the Sebring subject property. And like, it's still stupid, you guys. Like, it's not as smart as you think. You would think, oh, that's called Moline comparables, I should do that with the Moline listing. Nope, it's not that smart. It's not going to make those jumps, right? That's a great example of it's still more artificial than it is intelligent. It makes those mistakes. And it's real easy to miss that. If I didn't see, oh crap, you were referencing Sebring as the subject property and it only says it in one place, that would have been bad to use the comparables for a townhome on a single family home. It wouldn't have been good. Any other questions? I think I maybe saw one more. Good. Perplexity, we talked about Perplexity. They mention it in here specifically as the voice assistant, activated AI assistant. Like I said, I just use a Perplexity on my phone. I don't use it on my computer. It's nice. ChatGPT though does everything it does. Yeah, Perplexity, it's nice for voice stuff. I'm not a huge fan, but I do use it. Quick. Oh, so you're talking about an additional tool in Command that's a third-party productive AI. Yeah. Where do you get that? The marketplace. So if you go into Command, the marketplace is that little shop symbol out there at the top. It's a third-party productive AI. You'll download an app, you connect it to Command, and then you pay Productive. I would go to productive.ai's website and take a look at what it does. Because yes, my understanding of it is pretty old. I haven't looked at it in a while, but from what I remember, it's going to record your calls, take notes on those calls. It has certain trigger keywords that will, like, if you say, oh, we're going to meet on Sunday at 11, it'll like pull that out of the chat and ask you afterward, do you want to create a calendar invite for that? And then all of that pushes into Command for you when you connect it into Command. So all those become notes in the contact record for you with Productive AI. Productive.ai, I think is what it's called. Yeah. It's pretty cool. If you're a heavy call, like a lot of calls, it can be really good. And if you want recorded calls and all of that tracking, then yeah, Productive AI. And I think it's only like, oh, don't quote me. It's either $10 or $30 a month. I don't remember, or somewhere in between there, but it does have a cost. So be aware of the cost. What they think. Because I know some people have used it and loved it, and I know some people have used it and was like, it was just not what I was looking for. And it didn't help them actually. All right. This is another one that KW mentions. I do not do these at all, but I think this can be a great tool for you with your clients when it comes to language, when it comes to accessibility for maybe somebody who's blind. But there are a bunch of AI voice apps that can take something that is not a voice, like a article or I don't know, the contract to buy and sell, can take something that's text and turn it into an audio file or an audio experience where it can literally, you can say like, hey, take this blog and turn it into a 2-person podcast talking about this. And these AI voice apps will create 2 fake voices talking back and forth about whatever that blog is about. And it will create like a podcast conversation that you can listen to instead of reading that blog. So for me, I like to read, so I just read. I do like audio content a lot, and I could think of some places in my life where this might be applicable. I think it's more applicable in my business that if I needed to provide accessibility for somebody who is blind or, you know, doesn't speak the language that I speak as fluently as I do, or that I just want to be able to deliver it in an audio format instead of a written format, there are AIs out there to help you with that. And there are some really good business use cases for that. Oh, whew, we're getting to the end, y'all. We're close. Compliance is close to the end. We mentioned compliance a little bit earlier, but there's just a couple of things. I already mentioned you need to follow the TCPA and standard fair housing rules. You have to do that all the time anyway. It still applies here. Don't upload images unless you have the copyright or the owner's permission that does have the copyright. You do not have permission to load things into ChatGPT that are not your photos. Don't create content you want to protect with the copyright. If you want something copyrighted, do not build it with AI. Your logo made with AI is not yours. You cannot copyright that because you didn't make it. The AI did. So you can't copyright stuff made from AI. I'm pretty sure you're not supposed to use logos made in Canva either. That's what my designer friend said. That might just be to sell his business because that's what he does is sell logos and stuff. But he would be the one that knows that he said in the terms and conditions, even with a pro account, you're not supposed to be using a piece like that as a marketing or a commercial entity. I don't know. I made my own logo, so you guys are on your own with that. No, hey, use a professional. If you just need a logo for now, yes, use Canva. Use a tool to make it. Like use a professional. There's a good reason to use one, and find one that's in your budget, because that's usually the only hurdle is budget there.
So what?
You could. It won't look very good, to be honest, but you could do that. Like you'll get a much better result just going into Canva and putting your logo onto the picture through Canva instead of telling the ChatGPT, hey, take this picture, take my logo and put my logo into it. It stinks at doing that. Like it's not very good. Like I said, it'll take me 10 minutes to get what I want through ChatGPT doing that. And I can just go into Canva and do it in 10 seconds. So make sure you're balancing effectiveness and efficiency. Don't let your attempt to be efficient stop you from being effective, right? Just get to the effective thing. ChatGPT is not always the answer, but it will always have an answer for you. That doesn't mean that you should always use it to do things. Sometimes it's going to slow you down more than it will help you. So just be aware. Sometimes you have to check yourself and go, should I just do this myself instead of having ChatGPT do all this? Because sometimes I get, like I said, I get locked into using it too much, and then I'm getting dumber and not practicing my skills. And I had to draw back. I had to pull back a little bit from it and not rely so heavily on the tool, where I had to give it more of my information so that I get better information out and I'm not getting dumber, right? Like if I'm writing something, if you've read my newsletter, I write an intro to that every month. I write that. I don't have ChatGPT write that. I do have it edited because I'm not a very good editor. ChatGPT is, but I write it all myself and then have ChatGPT edit it, and then it goes into the newsletter for y'all. I asked everyone last month to reply to that email if they read it. You know how many replies I got? 3. Two until this morning. I got my 3rd response this morning. I sent it a week and a half ago. I sent it on the first day of the month. So read my freaking emails, you guys. I put time and work into them, and there's value in them. Not yet, but it's coming. It's coming. So remember, like, the people who are owning these AI companies all have other businesses. Gemini is the one that I have the most hope for, and then Apple. Because think about what information Google knows about you. If you have a Gmail account, if you have a Google Calendar, if you have all these Google products that we love to use, it knows about you. And at some point, that AI, Gemini, is going to get higher level where it's going to be able to do stuff like, hey, do you want me to clear out all these emails that are like the other emails that you haven't opened in 6 years? And then you go, yeah, that would be great. Please clear those out. And then it's going to go do it. Yeah. See, it's getting there right now. You guys, if there's any PC users in the audience, Windows machines, Copilot is the built-in AI for Microsoft now. And Copilot is now built into Microsoft Word. It's going to be built into Excel. And the important one, it's going to be built into Outlook. And so there's going to be options probably with Copilot and Outlook and doing that stuff. Once Apple gets their freaking AI stuff figured out, because they're failing completely right now on their AI product, it's garbage. They know it. We're not going to talk about that, but Apple knows a ton of, if you're an iPhone user, Apple knows a ton of information about you. And remember, what information you give it dictates the results you get. So when it has such good information about me, it's going to be a lot more useful in your personal and daily life, where it's going to say something like, hey, I saw that you just scheduled a flight in your email. You just got that confirmation. Do you want me to build that into your calendar and schedule the hotel for you? I know you like these hotels from your past trips. You want me to just book this for you? And then some voice AI assistant calls that hotel and makes my reservation, does that, and I get the email confirmed, and then the AI is running all of that. Like, that's where it's going to go with the personal stuff and integrations in like that. It's just going to get better and better. And the more data it knows. Mm-hmm. Yeah, yeah.
So it clears the inbox for everything you can see.
He's using filters and folders in his email. Good for you, brother. All right, let's continue with this list. Protect client confidentiality. That data does not stay in front of you. It's going to go to the company. They're going to take that data in. Always verify AI outputs for accuracy. That is on you. It's not easy. You can use the AI tool. Sometimes I just say, do it again. And if the results change, there's obviously a problem. And it sucks when that's the situation where you say, hey, do this. You tell it to do it again. You get 2 different results. You don't know which one is right or if both are wrong. And so I have to then investigate more and see where I made a mistake, where it's not doing what I want it to do. But ask it if it's accurate. Hey, double check for accuracy. Cite your sources. Use those hacks we talked about before. Follow all applicable advertising laws. That's on you. If you have a question about advertising laws, please call our managing broker here or one of the supervisory brokers. And then finally, keep it ethical. If you're a realtor, you have an expectation of ethics. If you're not a realtor, you have an expectation of ethics from me, at least, that you need to be ethical, because these AI tools have varying levels of ethics. Like we mentioned earlier, Grok and ChatGPT have different ethics built into them. It's not going to keep you safe. It's not going to go, oh, I noticed that Colorado has this law that says this. It has access, and if you tell it, make sure to follow all applicable laws, it will try. It is not a lawyer. It is not, you will never be able to tell a judge, well, my ChatGPT said this. Not going to fly in court if you get into hot water about something, because it can happen. You have a license, which means you have to deliver accurate information, and any education that you give should be within your scope, right? So if you start educating about mortgages, that could be a bit of a compliance issue if you're not a licensed mortgage broker. So the more you tell ChatGPT, the better it's going to do for you. And even in with compliance, you might go, hey, Go to the DORA website, download the compliance documents, load them into your ChatGPT's memory so it knows all of the compliance pieces. But if you don't do that, it's not going to go find them and apply those laws to you just because it sees you're sitting in Colorado. It's not that smart. So be careful, you guys. And your ethics come down to you. There's none of it can do the posting and getting it out of the GPT for you. You're always going to do some kind of action of moving that data, which means you're choosing to do that. It means if you're not confident in the ethics of your post, don't post it. Okay, easy enough? All right, let's jump in and I want to show you all a little example before we leave. We got 20 minutes, perfect. So one of the prompts that you have inside of your packet in the notice if you go to the role play page, which is on, find it, role play. Oh no, 23. Thank you. My packet's all broken apart now and out of order. You'll see that there's a role play prompt that tells it, hey, we're going to practice role play. You're going to ask me what your role is. You're going to ask me what we're talking about. Give me any other instruction. Then I'm going to be the agent. Me, Steven, is going to be the agent. And ChatGPT is going to be my practice partner. That's going to be a seller or a buyer or somebody on here. And so this, I'm modeling for you what you're going to go do when you leave this class. When you go to sit down on your own and you picked one of these items that you looked at on that big long list on page 17, you're going to take one of them, you're going to follow the steps that I'm doing right now, where you're going to come in. Also, this is after you train your ChatGPT, train it first. You're going to come in, you're going to start a new chat. You're going to go into the AI Playbook and copy that prompt that you see on page 23. And this is just the prompt on page 23 that I put in my text notes, so it's easier for me to copy it. But you can copy it from the actual document. You can just copy and paste, but I'm going to copy it and paste it in here. But notice on page 23, what does it say right below the box? What's the pro tip? Voice mode, which you can use anytime. We're going to use it now together. So I'm going to send this to it. I'm going to stop it so it doesn't respond yet. I just stopped its response. You see, I stopped it dead in its tracks because I just want to go into voice mode. And if you look down here where my mouse is, do you see the little 3 lines in the circle? That's voice mode. So if I click on it, and hopefully this is going to come through for y'all on Zoom, we're going to see. Hold on, it's loading, it's thinking. With Zoom going, it does not like doing this with Zoom on. I have realized that because when I don't have any issues with this when we're just me and ChatGPT here, but when I bring you guys all in, it does not like to perform very well. We're going to let it process the prompt first, then we'll open up the voice and see if it will play nice with us. There we go. Ask me each question and I will give you a response.
Absolutely, Stephen. Let's do it step by step. First up, what specific role would you like me to play? Are we talking buyer, seller, tenant, landlord, or prospect?
Buyer. Buyer.
Great. We've got a buyer in the scenario. Next question. What's your primary objective for this role play? For example, are you aiming to book an appointment with this buyer, handle some objections they might have, or maybe guide them toward closing a deal? Let me know your main goal.
This buyer is someone I met at an open house. I am calling them 2 days after the open house to see if we can set up more time to meet for either a one-on-one for hiring me or to go see another home. This buyer is pretty reluctant and is a little nervous that they're a first-time home buyer, but they are pretty kind and willing to talk to me at the open house. And now I'm going to make my first phone call to them. I get a lot.
Perfect. That gives me a good picture. So your main objective is to set up a one-on-one meeting or maybe a home viewing and just move the relationship forward. We'll have them be a first-time home buyer who's a bit nervous, but generally nice to talk to. I'll sprinkle in a little reluctance so you get practice with that. All right, Stephen, let's jump in. Imagine I'm the buyer picking up the phone right now. Here we go.
Hey, is this Matt?
Hi there. Yeah, this is Matt speaking. Who's calling?
Hey, Matt, this is Steven. We met at the open house on 123 Main Street on Saturday, and I was just calling to check in, see how things are going.
Oh, hey, Stephen. Yeah, I remember you. Thanks for reaching out. Things are going all right, I guess. I'm just kind of still wrapping my head around everything since it's my first time looking at homes, but I'm all ears for what you had in mind.
Wonderful. Well, I wanted to see if anybody has sat down and showed you the process of buying a home. Has anybody done that for you yet?
Nobody's really walking me through it step by step. I've mostly just poked around online and, well, showed up at that open house. So, yeah, I'd actually appreciate if we could sit down and tell me through.
Great. I love that you've been online doing a little bit of your own research, but I think it'd be best to go through this. Are you available later today, either at 3 or 5 o'clock? All right, we're going to stop the script there. I think you guys know how the rest of that conversation goes, but you can see how easy it is. And you no longer have an excuse to say why you don't practice scripts. No one will practice with me. Well, ChatGPT will, no matter what time it is. ChatGPT will be your script practice partner. No more excuses. And you can even have it come in here and critique, or you can say, hey, how could I have handled that better? What should I have said? Is there a better way to handle this? Let's do it again. And you can practice this. And you heard the prompt I gave it, and it's pretty accurate. And tell it to be mean. Like, don't be afraid to be like, be a mean. Like, if you're calling expireds, it doesn't sound like that. They're not nice. Tell it to be mean. Tell it to be short and annoyed and mad, and make you practice having to answer to what's going to be reality, because expired phone calls aren't fun, right? I don't know if it will curse at you. You can curse at it, but I don't know if it will curse at you. Right? It tries. Grok, I guarantee, will curse at you. I guarantee if you told it to like let me have it, it will warn you first. Like if you say something like, roast me, and you tell ChatGPT to roast you versus Grok, Grok goes off. But it even warns you, like, are you sure? Like, are you sure you want me to go off? And then you say, yeah, and like it's wild. And that Mhm. Yep. Yeah, you would say, let's set up a script practice every day at 7 a.m. and I will come in here and be prepared to do X, Y, and Z or whatever you want to prep it for. But yeah, I would tell it to, you would turn that into a reoccurring task of just saying, prep me for my script practice and be my script practice partner. Because it might be, give me a script to practice. Then we're going to use that and you're going to be the blank, blank, blank for that day. And on Mondays, do this. On Tuesdays, do this. On Wednesdays, do this. And this should be whatever your strategies are that you're practicing for calls. Pretty cool, right? And so I wanted to show you all, that's all it takes to start utilizing what's in this packet that I've given y'all. Is take the ones that you know are going to help your business as soon as possible. Train your GPT. Then go load in some of these prompts that we've given you and see what it does. That role play prompt, I didn't change it at all. I just copied it from the document, pasted it in, and you saw how nice and crisp and easy it is to get your role play going that quickly. And some of these social intelligence and competitive market analysis prompts that are in here, they're so good, you guys. Like, I couldn't write them this well. KW wrote these, and KW put a lot of time and money and effort into writing this stuff. That's why I've given it to you, and I want you to utilize it because it's hard. It's hard to write a prompt like that as your first prompt. Like mine did not look like this. My first prompts were like, can you explain how to build a bicycle? Because I was like, what does this even do? Like, and then I started understanding better and my prompts got better. And then I started learning about the frameworks of prompts like Rice. And there's 100 different ones out there you can find. But then I started engineering my prompts instead of just, consciously just going, this is what I want, and typing whatever my brain says. I was taking a little bit more time to improve my prompts, and then my outputs really improved, especially, and then the memory got updated. And like I said, they update ChatGPT a lot. They've done pretty much one a quarter, like big iterations. ChatGPT 5 just came out, and it is the best one out, I think, because all the other ones were catch up to what ChatGPT is doing right now. But right now, ChatGPT has the most features, the most abilities, the most everything, but it's temporary. Gemini will get caught up within a couple of weeks. Grok will at some point, or maybe not. I don't know. They run that one a little goofy, but I wouldn't copy and paste. I would just load the PDF in. You can just say, you can take, download a full blank contract and then just load the contract in and say, give me a page a day or focus on page 9 or. I'm not going to advise doing any of this while driving, Gil. Don't do that. It's not safe. Well, if you're listening, that's fine. But I would not be using the tools while you drive. That is not safe. One of the I think ChatGPT could probably do it for you. If not, go find one of these like 11 Labs that is built to take text into audio. And but I'm pretty sure ChatGPT would do it. I've never tried anything like that, but I'm pretty sure it would be okay with that and be able to give you an audio file with the reoccurring task of like saying play this at that time. I have not tested to see if it can like play audio on a recurring task. I would expect it could though. I would expect it to. Yeah, no, it makes sense, right? Like having it read to you something on a timed basis and saying like, we're just going to go through the whole thing, do 2 paragraphs a day or 2 sections a day and read it to me. Like that sounds awesome, right? I don't know if it can, but I bet it could. I bet it could. So we're going to wrap up here, y'all. Any lingering questions? Anything that's you're still wondering about or questions that popped up today? What are your final questions about AI in general, about what we went over today, about something we didn't go over today that you want to know more about? What questions do we have? Mhm. Yeah, please. That's annoying. Yeah. You're talking about the, oh, 18. There it is. Yeah.
I need to have that information.
Yes.
Get to it.
You want to update that. So that's a good note. You'll see in some of the prompts, there is a little bit of detail you need to add in, and you'll see it in big capital letters in brackets. That's telling you this information needs to be replaced or adjusted for your needs. And you'll see that on, not all of them have it, but some of them do, where you have to just add in your own personal pieces of information to the prompt to make it more specific. You're welcome. What other questions are coming up? Calendar link. I'll text it to you. All right. To wrap up, some next steps just very clearly put in front of you. Pick an LLM. That is step 1 if you haven't. Number 2, train your LLM that you pick with your master prompts. The information about yourself, your business, how you want it to talk to you, how you want it to talk to your clients, all of that. Train, train, train. Then practice the RICE formula of writing your prompts and use the 7 hacks. And last, sometime this week, spend time with the AI, just you and the AI, and working on some of these prompts that we gave you in the packet. That's your job outside of this class. Let me know how I can help outside of that. Let me know if you need a one-on-one. I'll send you my link if you do need a one-on-one where we continue this conversation for you specifically. But y'all, this is a huge, huge, powerful tool. Thank you for being here today. This, like, you don't even know the effects this will have on you 1 year from today. You're going to be like, what was I doing waiting so long to use this? Because you will use it every day. Every day. I showed one agent at my other office where she's like, no, I don't really like AI. But she saw, maybe y'all saw it on my Facebook page a while ago that I had ChatGPT roast me, and I posted some of the reactions. It was hilarious. That agent was like, I didn't know it was that good. She uses it every single day now. She does her listings. She does a text message to her database daily. All of those are written by AI, all of her emails, like it just blew up her whole world. And this is an agent that does 100+ deals a year, right? That she can utilize this because she needs to. This is about efficiency, y'all. It's not going to recreate your business or get you more deals, but it is going to give you more time back so you can go get more business and you can go get more deals. That's what this is going to do for you. Let me know how I can help. Take a moment to fill out my evaluation if you would. Just takes a moment. You don't need to give me a video. I'm fine with you saying no. You don't need to put your name in there if you want to remain anonymous. I do read every single entry, usually right after the class because I'm crazy. But I read them all and I take all of your feedback into account. I take it into the next class. Feedback is the breakfast of champions. And if you would take a moment to give me a little feedback, I would love that. You're welcome, y'all. That is all I have for you today. Be on